On Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Right. So very quickly, LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. Welcome to the show. I've been talking for 10 minutes and suddenly realized I didn't press go live. We're doing live Q&As today, and I want to jump straight into it. If you have questions, pop them in the question box, and we will do our utmost to answer them. We've already got some great questions from people over on Instagram. Thank you very much for that. TikTok, anyone who's got any questions, feel free to add them in the box. And again, LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, you're welcome to come in. My name is David, the Sales Angel. I'm a sales and business coach. I work on strategies and solutions to help people elevate their businesses. But the big difference being, one of the primary things that we do is we really want to over deliver on a lot of the free stuff so that you know, one, that we can help. And secondly, a lot of the time you could have got results in your business from the free stuff before you've handed over a penny. And this is honestly what I think, truly and utterly, what I believe is one of the biggest things why most people fail with coaches, consultants, strategists, whatever it might be. Genuinely, I believe, my hand on my heart, this is why most people fail. I don't think that most courses out there are terrible. Are some of them? They're not perfect, but they're not. Most have got something in there you can learn. Most of the time, we don't spend enough time or the right execution on them to the long enough time to get them to be effective because we're looking for their next golden nugget. So what I want to be able to do is keep turning up over here so that we can give you, whether that's people like yourself, Ethan, whether that's freelance, whether that's the morning game changer, any of you, if we can give you some tips, hacks, and tricks that you can use in your business, it's only going to elevate you through as you move forward. And that's really what we want to see you do. So if you do get some good results, if you do use any of the stuff that we talk about, make sure you tag us, let us know. It's always good to hear from you. And again, drop by at any point for a chat. So we had a couple of questions, about 8 on here, and we're going to go through the ones on Insta and any others that we've got as well. We'll probably be on here for about 45 minutes to an hour. And it's, what is it? 10:07 UK time. So the first question we had was from John. I don't think he's on here at the moment, but we'll answer it all the same. Put hashtag live, hashtag replay, just so I know which one's which. How do you overcome the not interested objection? So here's the big thing I'll talk about with objections. Saying objections is like sports. It's like saying sports. It's such a broad subject. It matters the type of things that you're selling, the stage that you're selling at, and what your intention is at that point. And I'll give you a prime example. If you've got someone who has been through 8 different steps to get to this phone call, and they sit on the phone and they say, I'm not interested, that's very different than if you're doing an outbound phone call for the first time to an account director as a cold call. So you've got to put it into perspective, and I'll do my best to answer a few examples. Put it into perspective about where that person is. And this is one of the big things that we forget. Because you've been through what you've been through so many times, because you've done your pitch, presented so many times, because so many clients have seen good results, you forget that it's a matter of fact it's going to work. You forget about this person doesn't know all of those testimonials that have helped people move in their business. So we've got to put ourselves in that person's position. And you have to remove yourself in an emotional state from that situation. And I'll give you an idea why. Let's say, give you a prime example. At the minute, I'm going through a bit of a health kick. I'm doing weights. I'm trying to eat better, that type of jazz. If John, the personal trainer, comes up to me and says, I want to help you lose weight in the next 30 days, blah, blah, blah. And I say, I'm not interested. It's not true. I'm not interested. I just hate getting pitched all the time. And I get, over the different socials, quite a lot of spammy messages. So if someone messages me like that, I don't even acknowledge it as a thought. It's just an automatic knee-jerk reaction. Now, on the flip side, if that same PT says, I can help you get a 6-pack if we started running together, I'm not into running. I don't want to run. There's plenty of options out there that I can do that don't include running. So for me, when someone says that to me, that's not something that's worth someone trying to handle. But what you want to be able to do is understand the questions that you're asking, why you're asking them, and what you're expecting the answers to be. And here's the big catalyst for what we've just said. The majority of amateurs that think they're professionals, they ask questions because they want the answer that they want. So they'll ask a question because they're wanting to reply. They're not asking the question to understand that person's unique situation. And everyone's situation is unique. Now, even if you can help, even if you are the best person for them, if you just rush through and as soon as they speak, you're like, yeah, I know that. Blah, 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 bye. People don't feel heard. So actually, what I'd like you all to start doing is start thinking about when you get an objection, what could they really be telling me at this point? Is it the fact they're saying they're not interested because they get pitched so much? Is it because it gets rid of 80% of salespeople? Is it because they've had a bad experience? Is it because their financial state isn't where they're used to being? Prime example, one of my good friends, his I'm not interested stage is about 25,000 in his bank. And when he hits that level, he stops spending. He gets knuckles down. I've spent too much. I'm not interested, not interested, not interested. Now, you also have to think about if you had a way to elevate his problem to becoming a solution in a shorter time, he could do it himself. He could potentially be open to it. But it's based around the questions that you ask will depict the answers that you get. So it's really important that when you're breaking down those answers, that you work out where are they in that process. What could be the real thought behind it? Is it a stone cold, I hate this, I'm not interested, whatever it might be? Is it more the fact of they're fearful because of a previous experience? Is it the fact they're just trying to get rid of salespeople, but if you carry on through, it's going to make it easier for you because you could prove something to them in a way that they don't feel sold to? Okay, so that was question one. Question two. This was from Sarah. How to follow up with someone after they didn't go ahead with a sale. Thank you, Sarah, for putting that in there. So I'm going to assume that this is phone-based or on a Zoom call. When you're going off and you're in, I've just seen people ask, how do I ask a question? Put a question in the box and we're going to come round to them. I've got about 6 questions here, a couple of Insta, then we're going to jump over to TikTok as well to answer those as well. The ideal situation, if you've gone, let's do a hypothetical. Julie's came into a lead magnet. She's shown some interest. She's got on a call. You've done a demonstration. And now we've got to the end of it and she hasn't gone ahead. The smart thing to have done is to have had that person booked in for a time and a place to go through their questions on that next day, that afternoon, whatever it's going to be. Ideally, is you're going to get that deal then. But there's a huge amount where you will have to follow up with people. So by scheduling the follow-up and removing the pain from that follow-up is going to mean they are likely to get back onto that communication with you. So if you haven't done that, the big thing you need to focus on is how you can add value, increase the flow, but reduce the resistance that could be held up in that conversation. So if I'm talking to Julie and I've got to do a follow-up conversation with her, and I know that the majority of people that we work with, it's a £20,000 investment, and they're going to be nervous. They might not make that money back over the coaching program. Look at that as an example. If I understand that, I can contact that person with intention about covering that typical pain point they've got. And then you can phone them up and say, hey, Julie, just wanted to catch you for 30 seconds. Not even sure if this is applicable to you, But I've just been having a conversation with one of the team over here. And what I thought could be really helpful is to show you a bit behind the scenes on the structure of what we do and how that will move forward over the next 3 months, reducing the risk and increasing the likelihood of success. Can I ask, would you have any objection to that? Now, what we're doing at that point is we're contacting them, letting them know that the pain they're feeling right now, the uncomfortable they're feeling right now, is actually normal and not a problem. Secondly, we're putting ourselves in a position showing that we understand where they are right now, and we're talking about how we can move them through utilizing either past experiences, other clients that we've had, and other parts of that on a step-by-step, again, reducing the risk and increasing the flow of the conversation. And at the end, what we're actually doing is utilizing the power of no. Most people out there, if we're asking a yes or no question, they're going to lean more towards a no. So in this instance, we're asking a question which involves saying no, but that being the positive answer we're looking for. For example, would you have any objection to me giving you a walkthrough on how this will remove the risk for you? Would you be opposed to me giving you a brief demo on what we've just done with one of our clients? Very similar to you. And I think it could really make a difference on how you understand the stepping stone. Would you be opposed to that? So it's really important. Excuse me, guys. It's really important that you understand where they are right now. You contacting people, whether you're on TikTok, whether you're on Insta, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, and just thinking that when you follow up, that they're sat by the phone going, I tell you what, I can't wait for Dave to call me. When he calls me, I'd probably just go ahead. It's far better to be completely prepared. And what I want you guys to all realize is it's better to be prepared, but at the end of that first conversation, you've booked up a risk-free conversation. Secondly, to go over the hurdles and problems. This is more, if you haven't had that opportunity, if that hasn't happened, a way of approaching that conversation that can move through. If you're liking these types of conversations, give a little follow, drop a comment in the box. It's always good to hear what you've got. User, load of numbers, just put your question in the box. And I will happily come back to it in a bit. Today, we're going through a Q&A. We're answering some questions we had from last time. And we're going to go through some other questions. We've got some on Insta, and we've also got some on TikTok. And I think my TikTok bot is just disconnected, so bear with me. Let's just have a look and see. For some reason, I don't know if anyone else has had it. When your alarm goes off, let's see if that works. It will disconnect. It does it on my Instagram live as well. But if it disconnects, the sound won't come back on. Okay, so we're going to carry on. Apologies for the interruption. Next question we've got from Paul was, what type of sales career should you start on being 18 years old? Okay, so think less about your age in sales and think about where you feel you would thrive more. Everyone's got a different level of knowledge, skill set, understanding. Everyone out there has got things that they're interested in. There's a phrase before, and I'm probably going to butcher this, that the man who loves walking will always walk further than the man who loves the destination. So if you can get into a sales career that you love, it's going to feel less like hard work. You're going to have the interest already in there. And then what you need to do is work out which part of the industry that you like is going to pay you the most money, that you could be the most effective in, that works the best around either your experience, your knowledge, and your expertise. So when you're working this out, it's so easy now to get caught up in overwhelm. But look at what you're good at. Look at your skills. Look at your habits. Look at what you like. Because if you enjoy talking about it, like I love talking to people about sales. Like I genuinely enjoy it. I get clients like Laurie and Sarah and Charles. But I've literally been messaging back and forth today, getting videos. I've just done this and I've just done that. And what should I say here? Like I love that. If you don't love sales and you're a sales strategist and coach, getting those calls every day from your clients would drive you mad. So you've really got to think about, what do you want? One of the reasons with our offers is that people have communication on WhatsApp with me every day is because I love what I do. And it gives us a USP where my clients then, for example, Laurie, amazing Laurie, if you watch this, proud of you. She has been kicking ass. And she'll message me, I've got X call going on and this is what I'm thinking. This is what I'm doing. How do I help them most? What should I say here? What would be the best approach? Because she's already great, but she's so focused on wanting to deliver to her clients, but she wants to make sure she's got it right. So again, what career do you go into? What's the one that you're going to be able to consistently perform in for years, where you can also make the money and get to do everything that you want to do? It's a great time right now, but we have, I mean, we're literally talking to you. You're probably all at home or in an office or traveling, watching me sat at home on 5 different devices from TikTok and Insta and Facebook, LinkedIn and YouTube. And all we've had to pay for, obviously we've got the phones and the tech, but to do this is a Wi-Fi connection. It's a fantastic time. Now think of this. With all of that, you also, on those 5 devices, have all the different people that follow on those areas. The gadgets and the tools that we have now have opened up the whole of the world. But if you've decided to set up a business, be an expert coach consultant, be a sales professional, and you're going to go and do something, you can almost build that by design, by either going to the company that you can deliver the most value, which means you're more valuable to them, or building an actual product and service based around your skills and expertise. And instead of just selling to your local town or your local city, you go off and find the people that you can help the most in the shortest amount of time, the biggest amount of impact that pays you well. This is a fantastic time, but we get caught up with the drama that we see in the world that puts people off trying as hard as they can and choosing the life they want. I know someone now who works for a company in the UK called British Gas. He literally works in a call center. Now, there's nothing wrong with working in a call center, but he is so skillful on the phone. He could be earning £300,000-400,000 a year as a sales consultant, being or going into businesses, being a high ticket closer, working in tech. He could do so many things because he's super smart, really articulate and driven. But he's decided, and that's up to you. If you're watching this back, love you. He's decided that's where his limiting belief sits. And that's cool. But if you're going to do the work and you could earn 40,000 a year, or you could do 200,000 a year, if you've already got the skills, they're untapped skills you're not using. And I think that's a crying shame. So thanks for that question, Paul. Hope that helps. Okay, so we're going to come to Craig, Julie, Frank, Raj, and Belle. If you've got questions out there, hey, everyone who's coming in. Hey, Neil. Hey, Dale. Hey, Freya. Hey, Michael. Hello, everyone over on TikTok. Hi, everyone on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook. So we're going through Q&As. If anyone does want anything, we've got some free trainings out there. Go to closedealstoday.com. It's a 32-minute training with no selling. It is literally purely there to help you get more results in your business, designed to help you tailor exactly what you are doing, how you're doing it, so that you can do it and it's all for free. So get yourself in there and give that a whirl. Okay. Next question was from Craig. And Craig, I appreciate the blatant honesty on this one. He said, I cannot seem to close my first clients. And it's the same question actually from Raj. So we'll do this for you both of you at the same time. Thanks, Raj. Thanks, Craig. I appreciate it. Now, I'm going to have to take some guesses because I don't have details for you both. If you're in a bit, I would assume, and I might be wrong, and if I am, message me privately. I'd assume that you're doing this for yourself, because if you're a sales professional in a company, you would already be getting training, guidance, understanding about where you are, and you'd have something to go off based off of the other people. If that's not the case, message me. We can talk to the whole company. But if you're a coach, consultant, expert, solopreneur, someone in that space, and you're struggling to get that first client, there's a number of reasons why. And I will try to be as nice as I can. The majority of the time, people come from a business that they work in where they've got their expertise and their skill sets. They've developed so much and they were a high performer in that company that they said, I can do this for myself. They've gone off and they've took the work that they did, that they're an expert in, and they've made that into a course or a program or something similar. So they've got their knowledge, but they forget this one part. And this is what's vitally important for coaches, consultants, and experts. Think about all the hats that you wear within a business, whether that's sales, marketing, accounting, SEO, whether that's hiring, firing, human resources, all of the different hats that you could wear as a single business owner. If your specialty was only one of those areas, you're missing the other 6, 8, 10 areas of your business. Hi, everyone who's coming in. Good to see you. Hey, Zoe. Good to see you. Hey, Freya. Hey, Albert. Good to see everyone in. And this is the problem that you have. When you work in a company, you don't see a huge amount of things that go on, whether that's SEO, social proof, the brand awareness that people already have, the amount of money they spend on ads, the marketing, the leads, the lead campaign, the leads pages, the follow-up, the email structures. All of those things got you the leads that sold you as an expert, which brought the business in and the job you had. So if you're not getting the results, there's something that's disjointed. And the problem is that you didn't see, typically, the bigger picture of what happened in that lead when that client came through. Let's say ABC company is a local business that you sold in your area to, and you're an expert, and say you're a chiropractor and you worked under an umbrella, but that umbrella was already known within the area. So they had automatically high SEO. People would automatically contact them all the time. They get first appointments, they get walk-ins, all of this stuff. So then you go off and set your own up in a different area, in a different location. You get different footfall. You don't have the brand awareness. It doesn't draw people in. This is what makes a difference. And it doesn't mean that you're bad. It doesn't mean that you're not able. It doesn't mean that you're no good. It means that you have to put the other hats on, either by hiring it out to someone else or learning those skills to take the client journey in such an effective way that they love you. That when they get on the phone with you, when they get on a conversation with you, when they have a talk with you, that you actually get the full trust of that person. And it's so important. It isn't just you jump out of that company, set up your own thing, and it'll go well. That can work if you're just great on camera, or you blow up on TikTok, or you've got a good presence on things like Reels, or maybe you've got a good following already from within your industry and you can lean on that and you can get in, or you're doing a lot of networking. Most don't have all those things. So if you're struggling to get the clients, reverse engineer it. First thing to do, write out the client journey from where they would have found you, how long they would have known you. And what I mean by that is, think of it like this. Let's say John ends up on a call with me, but he's been on this live now. This is the first time he's seen me. So he's seen me for an hour. Then he's on a call with me for 20 minutes and he's watched one video before that. We've got to understand, is that enough exposure that John would have had to me to be comfortable, competent, and able to make a buying decision that he's happy with to utilize my services? If it's not, how do you increase that by the time we get on the phone call to understand you more? There's automations you can use. You can use Loom videos. You can use so many tools so that by the time they get on the call, they are far more confident in your ability to help them in the thing that you do. Next thing you need to look at is the actual conversation that you have with them. If you are used to working in big companies and that was the big draw, you have to lean on the fact that as a small business, you can be more personal, it's more friendly, and you can do more things for people in that time. And a lot of the time, people try to stay the same as they were in corporate in the single entity, and that doesn't work in the same way. So I hope that answers the question for Craig and for Raj. We're going to fly through these last few. We're going to jump in, excuse me, coughing into the mic, on some questions. I've seen a couple of questions in there. Very quickly, you're 17. Should I invest in a Rolex if they've got 10 grand to invest? I'd invest into yourself. If you want to invest into Rolexes, prices are nuts. You can probably see this picture here. That was the first Submariner that I ever brought. I brought that a long time ago, and they were £8,100. They're about 17.5K now, typically. Depends what you're looking to do with it. So I just jumped out at me. But I wouldn't give you advice on, if you're 17, if you want to buy a Rolex, buy it because you love it. But again, there's other things you can more likely done with your money that are out there. Okay, so last couple of questions. Julie says, I keep getting ghosted. Julie, thank you for the question. Guys, by the way, put hashtag live or hashtag replay, whatever you're doing on this. It really helps me know when we should start doing more of these conversations. If you're getting ghosted, typically you have forced your way into that person's life too much. Or you've got into that and then later it's not been memorable enough that they didn't want to sacrifice their time to get on the phone with you. I'll give you an example. People that use really outdated sales methods, trying to get everyone to say yes all the time, blah, blah, blah. So Julie ends up talking to Frank, and she basically coerces him into saying, yes, you have an appointment. When that phone call hangs up, Frank's like, God, that was hard work. He's so unlikely. Excuse me. He's so unlikely to turn up for that meeting because he would have felt forced into that point. So what you want to do before you're getting people to commit to a meeting is find enough of a reason that's going to either have their curiosity, their interest, and their desire to turn up for that meeting. You also want them to realize that by turning up to that meeting, their life will be better. Not sunshine and rainbows, no golden crowns. You're not buying them a Lamborghini. But imagine for the moment, if I say to someone, I found a pain point, and I say, let's jump on a call, let's talk for an hour, blah, 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 blah. People are less likely to get on. But if I say, hey, how about this as an idea? And if it's crazy, just let me know. I think we could be able potentially to help you. Right now, I'm not sure, and I don't even have the time to go through it. What I would propose is this. Just tell me if this works. We book in an appointment. I'll keep it open for 45 minutes. But here's the thing. I don't want to take up my time if I can't help, and I don't want to waste yours. So if we say we hop on the call, and if after 15 minutes I can't help, normally I can put you to someone within the industry free that can help you with your problem. So just by getting on the call, if that happens, we'll only be on the phone 10, 15 minutes. And if I can't help, I'll help you out by introducing you to someone else who can or is around your budget. And if I can help, I'll show you some more about how we work. I mean, how does that sound to you? So then that person, when they're getting into that, there's a reason to get on the call. They're going to be more inclined to turn up because they've got that, because they've got that out, because they've got things that are actually going on. And if you can go off within your business and remove the risk, increasing the flow, removing that resistance, it's going to be far more likely that that person turns up, stays on the conversation because they know there's a reward. And then between that meeting finishing and the appointment, utilize videos, whether that's going to be a couple of emails you're going to send them, you're going to add some value to their life over and above the call of duty. And then people are going to feel more inclined for returning the favor. I know I can never say that word. Okay. I hope that helps, Julie. Last two questions. We'll jump into the ones that are on here as well. Okay. Frank says, advice for a new starter. Okay. If you're doing outbound sales, for example, imagine if it's painful. Let's just call it as it is. Say it's painful. You're already in a position of pain. get through that and get the most effective reps you can in the shortest amount of time so you become more effective. If you're in a role that you really enjoy, do exactly the same. Now, be a good student about what you're doing, but get the reps in. Imagine it's like LeBron James and he's hooping, but he's aiming at the wrong part of the basket. All the reps in the world isn't helping us, right? So we've got to make sure that what we're doing is right. But we've also got to make sure that the base technique you're using at the start, the processes, the systems, the frameworks work. So if you're in a company, ensure that what you're doing replicates for what the top tier people with the similar tools and frameworks and role are doing. Then break down and be a bit critical of yourself. Don't be harsh. Don't beat yourself up. Listen back to your calls. And this is a serious tip. If you don't like the sound of your voice, realize that's the voice everyone else hears. So while I'm talking now, and this drives me mad, the way I hear me and the way you guys hear me is completely different. That's the same as you. But if I don't like the way other people hear my voice, the easiest thing to do is to work on that. Because that's what they hear. So I talk a lot slower now than I used to. That's because I used to listen to my calls and I'd hear that I'm talking at 100 miles an hour. Blah, 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 blah. So then I was like, okay, well, I don't want to sound like that. So I worked on that. Because otherwise, it's just like aiming completely off from the basket and throwing all those shots at the wrong part of the hoop. So I hope that helps. Bell put, what did I write that? Oh, how to price my product. Okay, so a couple of examples with this. One, you've got to be profitable. But I think you've also got to make sure that you're delivering a high enough level of value that it becomes a no-brainer for people buying your product. You want it to be profitable, but you also don't want someone after owning your product to go, that was terrible. So with us, with one of our primary coaching programs, one, we have a guarantee on it. So if they don't make £30,000, they can get their money back. But that's also in place to reduce the risk and increase the flow, like we spoke about earlier. But it's also so customized and so much one-on-one time with me on the phone and doing Zooms that it's going to be a price which is uncomfortable for people. But if I said to you now, I'm going to give you £100,000 every year for the next 20 years, and it's going to cost £10,000, and you believed it, it would seem like a bargain. And typically, that's what we do to businesses, is we enable them to do that with the right. So it's a fair exchange. What we had to do was reduce the risk and increase the flow. So it's not about what price your product is. It's about the results that you deliver. What is the value to that? Because if you can prove to people that the value is far higher in year one, 3 months in, whatever it's going to be, people are going to be more inclined to do it. Right, now I need to try and do this without screwing up. So I'm going to have a look through. There was a couple of questions that we had. Okay, so I've literally now got stuck. So we've got this question here from the TikTok, YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook. So we had a question on Instagram from French Lessons _Australia. Thank you very much. How do I increase my lead generation? Okay, so with lead generation, one of the big things is what information do you need and what value can you give in the fastest amount of time to the widest range of people? That's what you want to focus on initially. Look at us right now. We're on an Instagram live, a TikTok live, a Facebook live, a YouTube live, and a LinkedIn live, all at the same time. So one action helps deliver to all of those areas. So if there's 10 people on one and 5 on another and 15 on another and 30 on another, it's fine because it's good value of my time. Next thing you need to do is break up. And this is genuinely a good thing for you to do, French Lessons _Australia. Go to www.coaching closedealstoday.com and watch that 32-minute masterclass. That is designed to help you with your offer. So about how you understand your offer, the subcategories around it, the problems around it, and the reasons people don't buy. When you've identified those, you can take one of those primary pain points and you can turn that into a fast solution that you can give to people, which prove yourself as an expert to move it forward in a faster way. I hope that helps. Feel free to reach out. Let me know you get on. Who we got next on here? I'm in hosted telephony and I appreciate a steer in the right direction. Mike, happy to help. Let me know. I don't know if you're still on. More details about what you're looking to do with that. It really depends on a number of areas. So if you're on a hosted telephony company, if it's your company or you've got a sales team or you're standalone or you're an affiliate or a reseller, each area is very, very different because you've either got a lot of content, a lot of leads, a lot of people to follow up with. Personally, I'd be outreaching to everyone out there right now. If you're going to outreach to B2B, understanding what the biggest problems that people face right now. Inflation is a massive one for businesses. Overheads is a massive one for business. Remote workers, massive one for businesses. And if you can understand for your target audience exactly how to narrate that, it's far, far better. But reach out. We'd love to talk to you a little bit more about it. Sean Fred, am I hungry? Yes. Sari says, hey, David, can we get in contact because I'd like to hear more about your offer? Yeah, sure. Drop me a DM, buddy. Let's have a chat. Let's see if there's any other questions on there. Oh, you're a reseller. Okay, so Mike about the telephony's come back and he's a reseller. So if you're a reseller, what you need to understand is if we take you out of the equation and we were just looking on paper, forget you, forget what you make, your margins, your profits, your needs. If there's ABC client, what are the reasons, and you have to write them down, what are the reasons that the other that person who's your buyer could potentially go off and buy from your competitor and be happier? Because listen, people, whether you're on TikTok, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, or Insta, other people can look after your clients just as well, just in a different way. Some companies are suck, right? Some companies are terrible. But actually, you are not the only, sounds so harsh. You're not the only answer. Hey, Carol, you're not the only answer to people's problems. But what's really clever to do, if you're a reseller, if you understand the strengths of your competitor, the reasons people buy from them, you can also find the flaws and the chink in the armor. For example, if you're a reseller for a massive company, but the competitors who are the big ones out there people buy from have shocking customer service, they're always stuck in a call center, this, that, and the other, blah, 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 blah. Aftercare sucks. And as a reseller, you can be their point of contact to make their life easier. One point of contact and this, that, and the other. People have a massive value add from that. So working out what your competitor does, go behind enemy lines, phone your top 5 competitors tomorrow and put a request in. Find out what they say. Find out what they offer. Find out their strengths. Find out their weaknesses. You're going head to head with these people, whether you like it or not, every single day. And it's vitally important that you take the time to work it all out. Let me just have a quick look on TikTok. TikTok, I've already answered about the questions there, and I can't see any of the questions that come up for the stream on StreamYard for Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube, and I can never seem to work it all out. So, guys, ladies, gents, however you identify, Mike, if you want to know more, just drop me a message. We can always have a chat at some point. It wouldn't be for the next few days, but we could do something next week. I think there's some spots Monday, Tuesday. Have a great evening. If people are liking these, drop me a DM, let me know. We'll try and do some more of these in the evenings with the wonderful backdrop that we've got set up. Any questions, or just go to closedealstoday.com if you want to get on that free training, and I'll see you all later. Have a good evening. See if I can log off them all now. All right, there's one down, and then this one is down, and then we're going to end here. Thanks, guys.